handout, we just did the paragraph under welcoming new visitors. And we saw that it looks great in our browser. We have that second paragraph over here. So flip the page, and we're now on the right-hand page in this stapled layout that says, what's it all about? And basically there's a bunch more stuff that they want us to add. So beneath the content we already have on the home page, we're going to make a level 3 heading. So we're going to do one that says about us. So it's walking you through it on this page. It's telling you what to do, what to type, but it's not literally telling you the codes to use. So remember, a heading 3 would be an H3 with an open and close. And then it said, next, add the following text, and they're all a bunch of different paragraphs. So we're going to open and close paragraph marks around each of these, and then we're going to add contact section. If you flip the page, you actually see the code that we're going to type in. So if you flip it over, we can see, I'm just going to put a space here so we have some room. This is where we're going to start typing, is the heading 3, so H3, about us, close H3. And then on the next line, we're going to do several different paragraphs. So go ahead and open and close them with paragraph marks and type in everything you see on the top of that page. All right, so this is the section that we just typed in based on the code we see in the What's It All About section. Again, double check that when you click on any one opening tag, it highlights, and so does the closing tag. So the H3 highlights paragraph open and close, open and close, open and close. H3 is open and close on the contact us, and the paragraph opens and closes here as well. When you've successfully typed that in, save it, and run this in Chrome, and you should see we have a bigger website for running. One thing I want you guys to note, even if you're still typing, I want you to look up for a second. Notice I could put like 17 returns here from line 17 all the way down to line 27. There's 10 blank spaces. But when I save it and view it in Chrome, that's not the way it looks here. All of these blank spaces anywhere in code mean nothing. If we actually want spaces to show up on our page that our end user reads, we actually have to put in codes for that. So I sometimes put extra spaces in my HTML code like this, so it's just a little bit more visible, so I can see paragraph after paragraph. The truth is, I could run this all one big sentence left to right, with opening and closing tags, never put in any spaces, and it would work perfectly fine. It doesn't care. It reads it as HTML, language, head, title, head, body. It reads it straight across in one line. But for the sake of us as humans looking at this code and going back and troubleshooting, I find it to be a lot easier to put in some spaces in Notepad every now and then, and sometimes to tab in, so that the things that are in the body are tabbed in, or even the things that are in heading 1 are tabbed in, or in heading 2, or in heading 3. It's entirely up to you, but notice how when I did this by using tabs, it's a little bit easier visually to see what's going on and what's nested inside of what. So just so you guys know, you're free to use tabs and spaces here. It's not going to change anything. Did everybody get this coded in and get it to look like this? Are we waiting on anyone? Raise your hand if you are. Okay. So basically what we have is a website with a bunch of paragraphs, and then at the very end we did write contact us. To find out more, contact Club Secretary Bob at 800-555, blah, blah, or email bob@bubbleunder.com. If you were on a website, would you expect this to be a hyperlink that you could click on? Probably, yes. Rather than copying and pasting it into your own email thing? Okay, so how do we make this bob@bubbleunder.com be an actual live hyperlink to his email? We have to code it. So we need to go back to our notepad and get down to this paragraph that deals with these things. I'm going to zoom in, whoops. Sorry, I was just trying to get my screen a little bit larger. Okay, so the words bob@bubbleunder.com are words that we actually want to turn into a hyperlink. So how we do that is that we wrap those words in code tags also. We put some tags right in front of it, and as soon as .com is over, we close out the code, the tag there. So put your cursor right before the letter B in Bob, and we're going to do an opening caret, and then letter A, which is it's called the anchor tag. Make a space, and then we tell it where it's going to look for something. So we do href equals. So that's your hyperlink reference equals, and then we tell it where it's going. Is it going to a web page, or is it going to be mailed to someone? We have to use quotation marks. If you guys want to hit enter so bob@bubbleunder is kind of out of your way, like I just did, and come back up to this code that we're writing, anchor space, or A space, href equals, and then in quotes we're going to write mail to, all run together, and a colon, and then the actual email address. Mail it to bob@bubbleunder.com, end quote. So the hypertext reference, where it's going, is a mail to, colon, bob@bubbleunder.com. All of this mail to bob@bubbleunder is within quotation marks. After that last quotation mark, close, put your ending caret. And then I'm going to backspace so that the words Bob, these are the actual words that show up on our web page right here, bob@bubbleunder.com. And at the end of that, we need to close this anchor tag. So we do a opening caret \A. It's a very simple closing tag. So if I click on the letter A, I'm going to move this down a line so you guys can see this a little bit easier. Here's the opening anchor tag. Here's the closing anchor tag. The words right here might be confusing because it's actually an email address. So for right now, don't do this, but I'm going to change it to just the word Bob. So now you understand that this is the actual link, and these are the words that are going to be hyperlinked are whatever is between the A tags. So when you have that done, save and run it in Chrome, and you see, I changed mine to say Bob instead of his actual email address. Yours should be his email address, but it should be underlined in blue and a hyperlink that actually pulls up your mail. Okay?
Wait a minute, one second. Can you just go back to your code?
Yep.
So, do or email, and then do like what would be the hyperlink, and then type in what would show up on the page?
Yeah.
And then do like close like the A?
Correct.
Just like it is, but just with a dash in it, not like another opposite one? Like one of those carets? So like that caret is like on the left, you see?
This one?
Yeah, and then to close it, leave it on the left, but just put a dash on that A or what? Or like...
No dash, just \A.
Like the backslash.
Yeah, backslash means close out whatever tag you write next. So \P closes a paragraph. \A closes an anchor. It stops the hyperlinking. If I didn't stop the hyperlinking, all the text that I wrote after that, if I had another sentence, would still be underlined in blue and still be part of the hyperlink. I'll show you. He's a good guy. We like Bob. If this is how I did it in my code, see what happened when I view this? I didn't stop the anchor after the word Bob, so it continued to anchor and hyperlink all the words I had until I came to that closing A, and I have it way after all these words that I typed extra. If I move that where it should be, whoops, I'm going to have a really hard time on this keyboard because I'm so used to a Mac keyboard now. Oh my god. Please come back what I just did. Close file. Okay. This closing anchor actually should come right after the word Bob, or in your case, the email bob@bubbleunder.com. That's where it actually needs to go. save it and run it again, and now you see only Bob is hyperlinked. And the extra sentences that I added just to explain this, he's a good guy, we like Bob, they're no longer hyperlinked. Okay, that's not part of the actual exercise, I will get rid of it. Does that make sense to you guys how we did that? Whatever we want to be hyperlinked, we wrap in a href tag, and then we close out there. Let's do another line. Go down a line or two from there, and write opening paragraph tag, and then write, we go to Lakeshore Technical College, period. Visit their website now, period. Send me an email, period. And then close out that paragraph. If you save that and run it in Chrome, it just added a paragraph. We go to Lakeshore Technical College, visit their website now, send me an email. Now if we want to actually make these work as hyperlinks, we have to do some stuff. Let's start with the easy one, the one that we just did. If I want the word email to be the actual hyperlink to my personal email, I need to put the anchor tags around it. So put your cursor right in front of the word email and start writing the opening anchor tag. So it's open caret A space href equals, and then in quotes, mail to, colon, and then your email, put in for real, end quote, closing caret. That whole long thing is your opening anchor tag, and then we want it to stop being a link. We only want the word email to be linked. So at the end of the word email, we need to put our closing anchor tag, \A. And if you click on either one of the A tags, they both should light up. So the word email is wrapped in a link that tells it to hypertext reference, mail to Brenda at GoodLTC. So when we run that in Chrome, this is a link to my email. And if you hover over it in this browser preview, you should see down at the bottom where it says mail to and then your email address. Did that work for you guys? Yep.
I have a question. I don't know. You probably have to go check it out. I don't know.
Okay.
If you want, if you don't have
I will come check it out. Let's do one more thing and then I will come check it out. Let's make the website. So it says, we go to Lakeshore Technical College, visit their website now. Let's make the word website be a hyperlink to the actual website. So before the word website, we're going to do open caret A, href equals, equals, and then in quotes, we're just going to put the website URL, but we're going to do HTTP, you know how all of them start that way, colon, www.gotoltc.edu, end quote, end caret. And then to close that tag so it stops hyperlinking at the end of the word website, we're going to do a closing A tag. So the word website is wrapped in the email, or the website address. And there's the hyperlink, and when we hover over it, it actually shows up in that lower left-hand corner as go to LTC. So if we click on that, it goes to LTC. We made a live link going somewhere. So, questions? So, take this practice paragraph that we just did and get rid of it. We don't need any of that. The last thing we're going to do, I'm just going to, all these extra spaces I have here, I'm just going to get rid of. Doesn't really matter. I'll show you my whole page. I'll zoom out. Here's my whole entire page, very small. HTML at the top, closes at the bottom. Click on head, it closes. Inside of the head, we have title that closes, opens and closes. Get in the habit of doing this before you submit homework. It's so easy to click on these tags and make sure that they light up and their closing partner lights up too. So we have a body tag that opens and closes, H1s, H2s, H3s, and a bunch of paragraphs that open and close. And we have an anchor that creates a hyperlink that opens and closes around the word Bob, or in your case it's the actual, I'll change mine to match yours, bob@bubbleUnder.com. So at this point, save, and the last thing that we're going to do with this document today is we're going to add a picture. And I asked you guys to be on Blackboard and to download that one picture, the scuba diving photo that's available right here or way down at the bottom. And wherever you downloaded it, mine is in the downloads folder, and I want you to make note of the name of it, because when you tell in HTML, when you want to show a picture, you have to type in the exact name of the picture file and a path to where it's located. So is it in a folder? Is it not in a folder? Whatever. So knowing the name of the file is critical. Another huge thing, when you guys make file names, don't put in spaces. So if it's about us, I would recommend two things. Either run it all together, aboutus.com, or use an underscore, that lower, the underscoring hyphen between the two. If you just put in a space, it will actually read that as something that's missing, and it's going to put a bunch of code in there. So every time you have a space, it's going to put in the %, and then 20, and then the % in the name of your file, which is really confusing to people. So don't use spaces in file names. Do everything in lowercase. That's going to save you a lot of headaches. Notice in this photo that we were given, divers, circle, image, they did capitalize some of those letters. Quite often in file names, capital and not being capital is not a big deal, but if it ever doesn't work, that could be the issue. It could be a matter of your title's not being correct. So I want you guys to go and find and make sure that you have divers, circle, image stored, downloaded from Blackboard, and in your download folder right. All right, what we need to do next is that image itself needs to be in the folder that we created called Bubble Under. It needs to live with the file, the index file that we're working on right now. So however you want to go about doing that, I'm going to have mine highlighted here, and I'm going to say copy. I'm just going to make a copy of it, and then I'm going to go to my desktop and go to the Bubble Under folder, and I'm going to paste it in here. So I now have inside my folder called Bubble Under everything I need. I have the index, which is the home page, and I have this picture ready to use. So now I'll be able to code for it and have that picture actually show up. So once you have that image in your Bubble Under folder, divers circle image is the name of it, and it's a JPEG.jpg. Now we're going to go back to our actual index page, and we're going to put this picture up at the top of our page right after the welcome to our super duper scuba site. Zoom in here. So at the top of our page we have the welcome, and right here before the paragraph of glad you could drop in is where we want our photo to show up. So what we're going to do is we want this set inside of a paragraph, but it's just going to be the picture. So we're going to start with the paragraph tag, and then I want you to hit return, and I want you to close the paragraph tag so you do not forget \P. So inside of this tag is where we're going to put our picture. So how we get a picture to show up, the HTML tag is opening caret img, which is image, and then a space, and then we have to tell it where to go find it, the source. So we type in src equals, that's the source, and then in quotation marks, we write the name of that file, and it's not what we see in our handout. It's actually called divers circle image. So divers circle image.jpg. And to exactly match, I'm going to capitalize these letters just to show you. If you ended with a quotation mark, it would put in that picture at whatever size it is. If we want to designate how big the picture shows up, we add some more information before we end that quotation mark. So I'm going to take that quote out, and I'm just going to push space. Oh, no, I've lied. Quote's going back in. The source is quotation marks, divers, circle, image.jpg. Then we're going to hit a space, and we're going to tell it how wide to be. So we're going to say width equals, and in quotes, 200, which is pixels. And then we're going to say height equals, and then in quotes, 162, end quote. And then the last thing we're going to do is an alt tag. And what alt tags are is alternative text, meaning, do you guys remember when we talked about accessibility and screen readers for people that can't see? When a screen reading software comes to this and it sees the alt tag, it will actually read out loud whatever we type in there. So we're going to type in a circle of divers practice their skills. So blind or vision impaired people will have their screen readers say to them what the picture is. So it's really important that you always use alt tags. So then we're going to say alt equals, and then in quotation marks, we're going to write words that a human understands. A circle of divers. I can't write circle. Good grief. Circle of divers practice their skills. End quotation mark. And then closing caret. And image tags are unique in that you don't need to close an image. They're just one single line of code because that line of code tells it everything it needs to know. Put it in an image. You can get it from the source. This is what it's called. This is how wide, how tall I want it to be, and here's an alt tag to go with it. So let's see if the web gods are with us today, and they are. Because it's in the exact same folder that our index pages, we don't have to tell it any detailed information of where to go find the picture. We just say source equals, here's the name of it, how wide, how tall, and if for any reason this picture didn't load, have you ever loaded a web page where you get the little red X because the image isn't there, but the words still show up? That alt tag would show up. And in some browsers, when you hover over the picture, the alt tag will show up as well. So we should have a page that looks like this. If I zoomed out far enough, we have some heading 1s, 2s, 3s, we have a picture, and we have a hyperlink. That work for everybody? The critical part to this is that your image needs to be in the same folder as your index file right now, so in your bubble under folders where the two of them live. Make sure you save that. And for the sake of going forward in class, this now has to be saved somewhere that you can always get to that won't be rewritten. So I kind of worry about leaving things on the desktop. I don't work in here a lot. Brandon, you're in here a lot, or you have been, right? Mm-hmm. Will it stay or will it go away?
It depends if they like